Welcome to my Self-Care Shit, the podcast, where we talk about what true self-care looks and feels like. I'm your host, Kathy Love, two-time TEDx speaker, author, and self-care coach. Each week, we'll have honest conversations on how to create the peace and stability we crave in our lives. Today, I want to talk about one of the signs of codependency that you may be able to recognize in yourself. I want you to start paying attention to the first thought that comes to your mind when someone reaches out to you. So I'll give you a couple examples that are hilarious now looking back, but absolutely true in the moment. So the first one is a few years ago, my boss asked me to come in early to work. And I thought it was for sure that I was about to get fired, before I started the day, before I really got into my job for the day. When I got there, instead, I was greeted with a bouquet of flowers and a card with a gift in it for the recent passing of my aunt so that I could travel back to the services for her, and it was a condolence gift. But my first thought that I was getting fired. Another one is that I got a text from someone saying, "Can we talk?" And this is someone who I work with. They are, at the time, they were my coach. And so I immediately thought that they were firing me as their client. And for whatever reason, I mean, these are split-second thoughts. It's not like I sit there and actually necessarily work the whole scenario out and think that this is going to happen, but these are definitely split-second thoughts. So my first thought is, did my payment not go through? Have I just gotten to a point where I'm not interesting enough? And so I'm going to be released as the coaching client. There's, whatever. And the third one is that I got this is recent, okay? And this is why I always tell you I coach what I know, because these codependent thoughts and beliefs and behaviors that I have learned to heal will still show themselves in ways that are unexpected, or they just pop back up. But now in the healing, I can see them really quickly, laugh at them because I know they're not based on reality, and work through them. So anyway, I got a text just the other day from a really good friend, from someone who I recorded a podcast episode with. And when I saw that, in the text said, "I have a really big favor to ask of you," my immediate thought was that they were unhappy with the way the podcast was recorded and they were asking me not to publish it. That is not the case. When I called them, the favor was to ask me to be a guest on their podcast, which was a big deal for me. And like a really good big deal for me. So I don't know what the example is for you, but it's something I just want you to pay attention to. Just start to see if the first thought you have is something negative, if it's that you did something wrong, or I use this in my TEDx. When somebody doesn't text you right back or call you right back, do you immediately assume you did something wrong or you've ruined the friendship somehow? So just a one point of the example of in our codependency, how our self-worth, our value, our knowing that that some people may not care for us. That's okay. Like, we know who we are. We know we're good enough. All of those things that we really work on, that eventually stop us from that being the first thing that we think of. Or if it is the first thing, it just flashes by us and we don't perseverate on it and really make a big deal about it. But so just a point, one example of how codependency shows up for us. This could be at work when a boss asks us a question or a coworker questions us. It could be at home, it could be in a partnership. So just something to think about. Have a great day. Time to get your self-care shit together. Great job making time for yourself today. Be sure to subscribe to my Self-Care Shit, the podcast, wherever you listen in. Your 5-star review will help get this show to whoever needs to hear it. Go grab your free daily self-care checklist on my selfcareshit.com. Please take the last minute of this podcast for yourself to listen to the ocean waves and breathe.